It's very nice to see you all. I really wish it were in person, but it's still very nice to get together with everyone. And I'm sure some of you really appreciate still being able to be in your PJs and log into this meeting. But the first part of the meeting will be conducted by our newly elected president, Dave Reed. But before Dave takes over, I would like to ask Anya Wilczynski on our staff to talk briefly about the technical aspects of this meeting so everybody understands how to participate today. So Anya?
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. So as Annie said, I'll just quickly say, right now you are currently muted. If you find that you all of a sudden are automatically muted, it's because one of us muted you just because we might have noticed some background noise, and we're just trying to streamline the process today. If you're wondering if you're muted or not, feel free to check the bottom left of your screen. You can see if you want to mute or unmute, and also if you want to stop or start your video. Then also at the bottom, you can select chat and open up the chat feature and chat with other participants. This will be a great opportunity to connect with people since we don't have that normal half-hour breakfast chat time. So for now, we're just going to be showing the video screen for Dave, but then we will move into a shared screen presentation where you'll be able to see some of the list of commissioners and things that we'll be sharing with you soon. So there will be some visuals coming up. You won't have to stare at our beautiful faces for too much longer. And then after the business portion of the presentation and Annie's presentation, then we're gonna move into breakout rooms. Most of you have pre-selected the breakout room you'd like, either nature, culture, or history. If you have not selected your room, or if you're uncertain, we will be moving everyone into their pre-selected room. And if you don't get moved into one, you can either message me or you can hang out at the end of the meeting and we'll move you in to that breakout room. So if there's any questions, feel free to use the chat feature and message either me or Sherry Grishin or Ryan Connery, and we'll be able to sort you out there. In those breakout rooms, we're gonna talk a little bit about things that we've faced during this time and opportunities that we've found over the last few months. It's been, I can't believe, a whole year since we've had our last annual meeting. So this is a great opportunity to share things that your organization might have achieved or things that you've enjoyed in the heritage area recently, specific to either nature, history, or culture. So we're looking forward to connecting with everyone in those breakout rooms and having a chance to chat. Again, in those, we'll be using the chat feature so you can maybe share links or websites, things like that that you've come across that you want to share with your colleagues. And also great chance to share contact info too if there are new people in the rooms. So anyway, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dave Reed, our new president. And let's see, where is Dave at? Dave, if you want to unmute and say hello, I will spotlight you.
All right, I am right here, Anya. Thank you so much. And thank you all for joining us this morning. It is an honor to serve as your president of Essex National Heritage Commission for the next 2 years. But before I talk about me, I want to talk about one of the more important people on this call, Polly Brown, and to thank her for her leadership over the last 2 years. Polly has been a dedicated trustee, president, leader, advocate, mentor. She has taught all of us on the executive committee about the importance of fundraising and reaching out to our contacts. And she's been so supportive. Any events I've held, Polly has always been there. So thank you so much, Polly. And so a little bit about me, and I think Annie's going to do some acknowledgments of Polly later, but I just wanted to convey my thanks. So I've been was a commissioner in Essex Heritage in 2007. I came on board in the organization. I became a trustee in 2010. So I've seen this organization evolve in so many positive ways. For my day job, I'm the vice president of medical oncology at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston. So my work in Essex County is a nice diversion from oncology. Personally, my two main interests are, of course, Baker's Island, which thanks to Annie and Ryan and the whole team, they've made such an amazing place for us in Essex County and really preserve that historical lighthouse out there. The second thing I'm interested in is some of the trails work and the Border to Boston Trail, which is being built. And you'll hear more about that during my tenure as Essex Heritage focuses on that. There's so much trail construction in so many Border to Boston towns. So thank you. And now for the business portion of our meeting. As many of you know, we didn't host our spring meeting, so we need to approve the fall 2019 meeting minutes. Trustees and commissioners received a digital copy of the minutes for the last meeting. So may I have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
This is Tim Felter. I make that motion.
Thank you, Tim.
Jason Consalvo, second.
Thanks, Jason. So we have a motion and a second. So we're going to share the screen for a poll for the next 30 seconds. So please vote if you can.
You guys are really quick voters. Thank you for that. Don't even need the full 30 seconds, so we're good.
Thank you, Anya. So in August, the Board of Trustees voted in 2 new trustees. So please join me in welcoming Karen Andreas of the North of Boston Media Group and Patrick DeLilius of DeLilius Brothers Construction. Thanks, Karen and Patrick, and welcome to the team. And I'm looking forward to working with you both. And I'll reach out to you offline at some point this fall. And now on behalf of Essex Heritage, it's my pleasure to present you the following slate of individual nominations to serve as commissioners for 3-year terms. The first is Laura Asaid, who is the Director of Constituent Services and Latino Affairs Coordinator and the LGBTQ liaison for Mayor Kimberly Driscoll's office in Salem. Second, we have Nathan Baez of the Andover Breadloaf and Elevated Thought. Next, we have Walter Beebe Center, who's the owner of Essex Restorations. Next, we have Nate Bryant, who's the president of North Shore Community College. Next, we have Doug DeAngelis, who's a Greenbelt trustee. Thanks, Doug. Next, we have Beth Isler, who's a former member of the Swampscott Planning Board and also a trail advocate. And next, we have Charlie Lincecum of the North Shore Nature and Recreation Advocate, and he's also on the Danvers Rail Trail Committee. And last, we have Danica Thurston, who's the director of the Lynn Museum and Lynn Arts. Thanks, Danica, and welcome to everyone. So may I have a motion to approve these nominations for our commissioners?
Jim Muse, so moved.
Thanks, Jim.
Second, Beth Power.
Thank you, Beth. Great. So again, we're gonna poll. We'll see if you can match your lightning record of your last voting. So Anya, if you can put up the poll, thank you. This is an amazing group, much more efficient than some of the places where I work. We have a saying at Dana-Farber, a vote of 19-1 is still a deadlock. So I applaud the commissioners here. So thanks everyone. And I'm honored to serve as your president. Feel free to reach out to me directly about anything, any of your interests, concerns about Essex County or Essex Heritage. It's an amazing organization. Thanks to Annie's tenure and leadership all this time. So I will now turn the presentation back over to Annie.
Well, thank you, Dave. Thank you for taking over the helm, and really appreciate that. And grateful that we could all come together at least virtually. So I know we have some elected officials on this Zoom call as well. So I know Joan Lovely's with us, so really I thank her and all that she does and for her joining us. I think State Representative Paul Tucker may be with us, and Jeremy Deloisio from Senator Markey's office may be also on. I know they were hoping to make it. So thank you for all your help. These meetings, of course, have always been held in one of the very special places within the National Heritage Area. And it's one of the fun things about doing the meetings. And it's disappointing not to be able to take you to another really beautiful spot in Essex County, because we've always emphasized the importance of place. But there are also new opportunities here, and I think that's what we want to talk about today. In this virtual environment, we've had to go and social distancing. What are the new ways that we all discovered to bring people together? For one thing, it's been far easier for people to access information online, and also these gatherings have been able to enable us to bring people from the farthest reaches of our county together, and that's been really very gratifying, that we can bring in more people who maybe haven't been able to make an early morning meeting or late afternoon. So really that's been very good outcome of this very difficult pandemic situation. So first, I want to do some more thank yous. I want to thank the Essex Heritage staff for all of their work, especially since mid-March when we started working remotely. I know that everyone on this call has had to make tremendous adjustments this year, but I particularly appreciate what the Essex Heritage staff have been able to do, since almost all of our in-person programs had to go remote, had to be changed. It's been a really terrific team effort working together and with our partners to put so many resources and activities online or design hybrid programs. It's been very challenging. I also want to second Dave's thanks to Polly Brown for her leadership over the past 2 years as our board president. It has been a great pleasure to work with Polly, who brought both her business experience from her years working for Verizon, plus her nonprofit experience volunteering with the Daughters of the American Revolution and the Holden House in Danvers. So Polly has been a great leader for the last 2 years. I thank her very much for all she did for our organization, including her never take no for an answer fundraising. So thank you very much, Polly. I also have one other important thank you and acknowledgement to make, and that's to someone who's been very special in our organization, Susan Littman, our Chief Financial Officer. Susan will be retiring at the end of this year after 17 years with Essex Heritage. Not only did Susan do our financials, but she also did our HR, she did our office management, really almost whatever was needed, as you can see in these photographs. I really so enjoyed our time working together. And before she retires, Susan is taking a lot of care to train our new finance and administrative manager, Patty Hersey. So thank you, Susan, for your many years of service. I wish you all the best in your well-deserved retirement, and we'll miss you very much.
You're not going to be able to get rid of me.
Good. I like that. We'll make you a commissioner.
Yep.
This fall meeting usually includes our Pioneer and Partnership Awards, but we feel this year that really everyone has had to be a pioneer in their own way. You've all had to embrace new technologies, you've had to develop new content, you've had to pivot your operations, and you've continued to get work done in these very challenging times. And a few examples we've seen from around the region are Lawrence History Center began an initiative to collect and share Lawrence stories about residents' experience in the COVID, and they've called it the Lawrence Community Diary. Rockport Music at the Shaylin Liu Performance Center made their concerts virtual so people could enjoy them at home. Creative North Shore worked with local artists to make all these Jersey barriers that are going up for the restaurants. They made them into creative displays, some beautiful ones. The sites that have taken care of animals have given some close-up looks at the animals. Spence Pierce Little Farm shared the world of the little goat Comet. Greenbelt has a live osprey cam. Wolf Hollow live streamed their wolves. Outdoor sites, of course, saw a big increase in use. and made a lot of adjustments for that. The Danvers Rail Trail, the East Coast Greenway, people started to really see the incredible importance of these open spaces in our lives. There was also some improvements made to these trails during the pandemic. The most significant was the new bike and pedestrian bridge put in place over Route 1 in Salisbury. And you can see the picture of it as this big span bridge being lifted into place. Quite really a very, very exciting new development in the Salisbury area with the rail trail up there. So many places and organizations have really proved to be volunteers and will continue to have to be volunteers as we work through these challenging times. At Essex Heritage, this has provided us with some really unique opportunities to support our partners in new and creative ways. Heritage at Home was one of our first initiatives when everything came to a standstill in March. With the support and input from many of our partners, we launched this website, which provides a comprehensive list of online resources. Also, a list of outdoor trails and open spaces is part of this website. And there's a section for backyard junior rangers for family with kids. This is an ongoing, evolving project. We will continue to update it as partners innovate and provide more materials. We will keep putting materials up there to share for families, for individuals, and also for school teachers. Our Future Leaders is our youth job program with the National Park Service. We had to obviously redo this program this summer. We were able to still do it in person. We had to make it a smaller program with social distancing, but it was very successful. It's at Salem Maritime, in addition to the general ground maintenance that the youths were able to do. They also learned some historic preservation skills, including the traditional art of chinking, which is at Derby Wharf. It's filling the holes where the wharf is eroded. And they also did wooden sign making in the traditional way. At Saugus Ironworks, the youth did repairs and maintenance, including restoration on the exterior of the Saugus Ironworks Museum. And they worked on sealing the water wheel and reconditioning the leather bellows. An important part of our Future Leaders program, of course, is always a civic engagement. It's not just about the work, but it's also helping these youths really become involved in our communities and in our heritage. Usually there's a trip to the State House, but we weren't able to do that this year. So really want to thank again Paul Tucker and Joan Lovely, who kindly took the time to meet virtually with our future leaders to talk about their roles as elected representatives. And the youths were also able to ask questions about, returning to school and the inclusion of Massasoit in the state flag. And one of the kids said, wow, they talk to us, not just as kids, but as regular people. So many, many thanks for doing that. It really meant a lot to our future leaders. We were also able to extend future leaders into Lynn this summer. We were able to work with Lynn Museum and Lynn Arts and able to engage some very dynamic high school and college age kids in helping Lynn Arts and Lynn Museum with their social media, digitizing some photographs from their archives and assisting when they reopened for visitors and small events. And these kids also participated in enrichment opportunities, including sitting in on a session about the importance of the census and voting and learning about Lynn's history through original poetry and music. So very, very good experience. We're happy to be able to do this with these young people. Of course, Baker's Island, as Dave referenced, was a major part of the summer. We could not do our typical programming. We could not do our regular tours, boat trips, and theme weekend programs, but we were able to do overnights, and we had 100 overnight visitors and 68 campers in the new campground out there. We had volunteer work days, and we were able to accomplish a great deal of improvement projects on the island with the help of many volunteers. We've repainted the assistant keeper's house. We did lighthouse repairs. We were able to resurface the lighthouse tower. We had a very special Eagle Scout project. Brandon Reed built a shed out there, which will be very helpful for our campground. We also were able to install a new exhibit in the assistant keeper's house. This is an exhibit that was funded in part with a grant from the Daughters of the American Revolution. And it talks about the keepers at the lighthouse. And in doing this exhibit, we also made connections with families of former keepers and uncovered some very interesting and enriching history. So I was very pleased to be able to do that this summer. We finished up our solar project and we had a flip the switch virtual program celebrating this in August. And that solar project has really transformed what we can do on the island, both in terms of what it's like to be out there for our guests, but also what we can accomplish with power tools and other things that we now have sufficient energy to do. We were able to hold this summer our teacher workshop, PEC program, Park in Every Classroom. We had to transform the program because of COVID and do more of the learning online. But we were still able to do some in-person sessions, which of course are very beneficial both to the sites and the teachers. So we were very pleased for what we were able to do with our partners. It took a lot of reimagining to do this. And we also, though, discovered some new opportunities for how we can do more with teachers online and help them. And we will be continuing to work with the teacher cohort during this fall to provide mentoring. And we also revived our Using Essex History program. It was an online program with curriculum and primary source for materials for teachers. And we've re-energized, revitalized that website and are making that available both to teachers who took the PEC program, but also teachers throughout Essex County. And we're pleased to be able to do that. This fall, we will only be doing virtual programs, but we have 3 programs coming up. They will be about defining access to nature and environment, the struggle for labor equity, both past and present. What can we learn from the past and apply to the present, and looking at the value of art and culture in shaping this region. And we really hope that these will be very interesting discussions of ways to interact and value the incredible heritage and resources that we have in this region. So we hope that you will join us. They're in October, November, and December, and look for our website and more information on that. Trails and Sails, of course, is our signature event, and it is happening this year, but it also had to be adapted. It is starting this weekend and will run for 10 days. And there are a variety of virtual events created especially for Trails and Sails. There are do-it-yourself explorations and even some in-person events. And we have a little video for you on this. So with that, Anya, do you want to try that? See if we can get that running.
Welcome to the 19th Annual Trails and Sails event series. 10 days filled with free opportunities for you to explore the special sites and unique stories that make up the Essex National Heritage Area. Trails and Sails begins on Friday, September 18th and runs until Sunday, September 27th. And we can't wait for you to see what's in store. Due to COVID-19, this year might look a little different, but we are sure there will be something or many things you'll enjoy discovering during Trails and Sails. This year, there are 3 types of events being offered: virtual events, do-it-yourself events, and small in-person group events. All of these events are offered for free. Virtual events might include a virtual tour, a lecture, or an activity you can enjoy, all from the comfort of your own home, wherever you are. Do-it-yourself events are activities you can do at your own pace and at your own comfort level. This might include a self-guided tour, a scavenger hunt, or a driving or biking tour. Many of these DIY activities are offered during all 10 days, so you can pick the day and time that works best for you. Small in-person group events will look similar to traditional trails and sales events, but there are several precautions in place to keep everyone safe. This will include limiting the number of attendees, requiring advanced registration, and requiring a face mask at all times whenever possible during the event. Many of these events are great for all ages and provide a fun way to fill your weekend or enjoy a weekday activity. For specific details on each event, including parking, registration, and other pieces of helpful information, visit trailsandsales.org, where you can see each event listing and get all the details before participating. There are over 100 opportunities for you to enjoy Trails and Sales this year. You can learn more by visiting trailsandsales.org.
I hope you all take advantage of Trails and Sales. Is only possible through the cultivation of all our partnerships. So I want to again thank our many, many partners. This video will be, is on social media, is being posted in all of our social media to encourage people to engage with Trails and Sales in its new format. And now with that, I'd like to yield the rest of my meeting to the breakout rooms, and which are nature and history and arts and culture. Before we, actually I have one last thing to remind you of. We do have a match form, and immediately following this meeting, you will get an email with a match form. Please fill it out and return it. We really value your volunteer time. It goes towards the match that we're required for the public funds that we get. And we so appreciate your coming to this meeting and all that you do with Essex Heritage. And it's a great way, not just to match the federal funds, but also for us to record the many, many hours of volunteer time that go into running this National Heritage Area. So I really thank you for that. Now, we're going to switch to the breakout sessions. Sure. Well, thank you all for participating in these discussions. I was in the history. I thought it was pretty interesting to hear what people have been doing. It's been a difficult time, but many of you have been able to pivot and I think learn new things. I was interested to hear, even in Bradley Palmer, the work that's been done to on all the trails and the stone walls and uncovering all the assets there. So it's really fascinating to see how people have been able to pivot at this time and look at it in as positive way as possible. So thank you for these good discussions, and thank you for joining us today on this virtual event. Just a reminder that you will be getting a match form immediately following this. Please fill it out and send it in, because again, we do value your time and your participation. And just, I hope that in somewhat near future, we'll be able to meet in person again, because I do miss that. But it's also fun to see what else can be done in these virtual mediums. And I'm sure this is going to be a very important part, even after COVID, that we will continue to do much more online and much more virtually. So in the meantime, at least go out and enjoy Trails and Sales, enjoy the really wonderful places that we have in this region. Virtually, but also in small groups and in person. We really do have an amazing amount of resources, and this is a fabulous time to be discovering them and seeing all these places, and what a rich county we have, a rich region we have, and which is why we have a National Heritage Area here, because it really is a very special place. So stay well, have a good time, enjoy Trails and Sales, have a good fall, and hopefully we'll see you at our virtual programs soon. And then again, connecting up with all of you and all these different partnership projects we're doing. So thank you so much, and take care.
Great meeting, Annie. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you,
Thank
Andy.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.